some of these tricks that have gone wrong, because you have some of those in. I mean, have you heard of some of those? That
Yeah, I know. He's one of them. I thought he was talking about the big ones. Now you can go look on are the guys that are doing the knife stab with the spike in the bag. A good friend of mine, Martin Cox, he stayed at our house a couple of times, and he did it with a girl.
Yeah,
and it went so crazy. He grabs the girl's hand and he takes her hand over. So when he slammed down on the bag, there's 4 bags, and underneath it is a big metal spike. Yeah, he actually went through her hand and into his hand.
Yeah,
it's just craziest thing in the world. So I
mean, is that just you get sued or you get?
He should have got sued. He got lucky, and there has been some that has sued. Yeah, he did not. He was lucky because the girl. It was at a magic convention, and she was an assistant to another magician, so she was used to it. And the spike went through the best part of her hand, which was just luck. But so it didn't damage, no nerve damage or anything like that. Yeah. So she's got a great story to tell. Yeah. And but she didn't sue him, but she definitely could have, and she would have won that case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, why even run the risk?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just, yeah.
Yeah. I met a guy that once he was juggler, and he juggles really sharp knives right on top of people. So he makes them lay down and he juggles right in there over their face. And he said, this is so funny. And I was going, they're going to own everything. Because you don't know. They might just raise their hand or something like that, and they do something. I don't care how good you are. Yeah. One day that's not going to work. Yeah. And so he ended up now, he puts like a blindfold on them so they won't. And he just pretends like he's doing it. And he fake drops it. And it's 10 times. Now it's funny. It's a funny piece. That person thinks that you're doing it. It's way better than actually really doing it and maybe killing this guy.
Yeah. It's a much better show. Read the Joseph Burris.
The one's going wrong. Escape artist Joseph Burris, who was desperate to emulate his hero Houdini, died on Halloween 1990 while trying to perform a buried alive trick in California. Joseph was lying inside a see-through casket when he was lowered into a hole into the ground. A cement truck then poured its contents onto the casket, but tragedy struck when the coffin suddenly collapsed under the wet cement's weight. Joseph, dubbed Amazing Joe, ended up being crushed to death at the scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, we don't have to watch. I don't want to watch.
All right.
Yeah. I remember that when that happened.
It was on TV?
No, I mean, it was just in every magazine, every magic thing that was out there.
So, I mean, you don't even see it. You just see, they just pour.
Yeah, I don't know. That thing I was about to pull up was from Inside Edition where they did a story on it.
What was his plan?
To dig out. I mean, Houdini only did it once. Lance, I think there's been several guys that's done it. It is David Blaine did it. It's a very difficult trick to do, even if it works. Because his plan was to get out and dig his way up through the dirt. So no matter what, even with a breathing tire or whatever you have, it's tough because you got digging you have to at least dig 5 feet through dirt. You just hope it's loose.
So I mean, the weight, it just crushed.
But his was the weight.
He died I mean, I don't know. Probably not. Probably suffocated.
Yeah. That's what happened. Yeah. He hadn't planned on the
I mean, do they even show? Like, I don't want to. I mean,
that's the worst imaginable death I can think of.
Yeah,
is that happening?
Yeah, and he did it to himself. And then, I mean, and especially with people watching you, knowing you're there, so they could help. Yeah. You know, it's not like no one can help you. Everybody can help you, but no one knows to help you. That's like a trick that you'd have to go. I mean, is it worth it? Are people nowadays? I don't know how much this stuff is worth because everybody's seen everything. With the internet, it's hard to impress people. And so if you're like, I'm going to do this, you just got some guy going, well, I bet he's doing something else. And then they don't care as much. Yeah. And so they don't appreciate it as much. So why even run the risk of doing it?
Yeah. You know, when David Blaine did the balloon thing, it was a pretty cool show if you like that. But then the guy helping him jumped 22,000 feet, whatever, just out of a plane without a parachute and landed in a net. Yeah. Did you see? I mean, when I saw that, I looked that up and I went, you got to be kidding. That was 10 times better than what planes just did. Yeah. I mean, he went higher, jumped out of a plane, nothing on, and lands in a big net that looked like a little square by his camera. You go, I'm going to land in that thing. Who would do that?
Wow.
Yeah.
And why we haven't all heard about that one?
Yeah. Magician swallows acid on Vietnam's Got Talent. When Vietnam's Got Talent semifinalist Tran Tan Phat brought out 4 glasses of water and 1 glass of acid in the 2015 show. He had no idea he was moments away from disaster. In an act dubbed The Acid Test, Phat got one of the contest judges to come on stage and shuffle the glasses around, including the one containing sulfuric acid. He claimed he would use his magic to work out which glass had the dangerous substance. However, the judges looked on. He chose wrong. He spat out the acid as soon as he realized, but not before his lips had swollen up and pain had shot through him, according to reports. He was raced to the hospital and treated for second-degree burns.
And there's a guy named Jim Hines. It was a friend of mine. And I don't think Jim performed. I thought he's one of the funniest guys. He would come out on a magician's magic convention. And it would be the only place you would ever see him. And he would have a tuxedo and everything. And he would tell the saddest story, like somebody broke into his truck last night and stole his whole show. So all of his props and everybody believed it. But then he goes, well, luckily I've sent home and I've got slides. And so his whole show is slides. He showed one slide, him standing in front of a building. The next slide, it'd be him empty. And this was back in the 80s and 90s. But it was hilarious. He just made everything disappear, things jump. But he did a lecture the next day. And in his lecture, he did this trick, that trick. He goes, this is my favorite birthday party trick. You get the birthday child up and you pour one line of acid. And then later on, I saw him do it where you get your grandpa's pills and you put them out. One of them, these are like good and plenty, but one of them is a kill. And each kid get to pick one. But it was all joke.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I hadn't heard about this, but when you read that, I remember I saw Jim do that in 2000. He would do the acid thing.
There's Harry Blackstone did that trick 20 years ago. Kramer says that.
The sheep.
It's 2 sheep. I saw Harry Blackstone do that trick 20 years ago in the Village. David Blaine lacerates throat trying to catch a bullet in his mouth. He risked death when he shot himself in the mouth during a bullet-catching trick in Vegas. He pulled the trick on himself in front of 20,000 people while holding a mouth guard between his teeth with a metal cup for him to catch the bullet in. However, as he fired the bullet by carefully tugging on a rope attached to a rifle, his gum shield shattered and he felt an impact on the back of his throat. At that time, Blaine believed the bullet had gone through his head and that he was dead, but fortunately he survived with only a lacerated throat.
You want to see it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to see it.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not like he doesn't even hardly respond to it.
Right there, he's going, am I dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was he trying to do?
He was trying to really catch a bullet.
Yeah.
People got to realize that every catch a bullet trick is there's a trick.
Yeah.
But he wanted to really, really do it. And the people, you die at it because somebody something can happen before you can put they switch guns, or somebody had the wrong kind of bullet, or it's not in the right chamber. I mean, that's what goes wrong. The trick itself doesn't go wrong unless you're going to steal the bullet out. I did remember I had a dart gun that shot a little dart. And what you would do is you would trim the dart. So when you loaded the dart in, you would shoot it. Then you would load one of those skinny ones in, and when you handed them the gun, the dart would fall back out in your hand. And so now I knew that it worked because I had the dart in my hand. And then I would have somebody shoot at me, and I had a magnet in my shirt. I did that for a little while. I chased that trick and stuff, but all of them are usually tricks like that. Blaine wanted to. I really want to really do. He was trying to be like Houdini. He wanted to do. He does all of what Houdini did, and he wanted to really catch the bullet. And the only way to do that is to have a metal thing that can stop a bullet.
Yeah,
still crazy. I mean, he's crazy.
Yeah, the metal thing can stop it, and it went wrong, and then it went through the back of his. It just went in his throat and hit it.
And it just kind of shattered the piece that he had in his mouth.